Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great day today. Today I am working on variations of my 4-leaf clover. These I've put glitter flecks in them and they look pretty cool, but I really want to design something where I don't have the vines coming all the way down in here. Okay, so stay tuned and we can get started. Don't forget to like this video. It will refer it to other people on YouTube, and if you could, please subscribe and hit that notification button. Alright, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is, I'm going to make this screen smaller, is we need to get a piece of clip art. Okay, and I just use free clip art. Okay, and here's all the free clip art that you can get. I ended up using, let's see, where is this one? Right here. Okay, once you get your design, go ahead and you can right click on your mouse, save image. Okay, and I've already saved it, so it's in here. You can rename it, hit save. Alright, then you can cancel on out, and I've already got PE11 open, so then I can go into image, open up from file, and here is the 4-leaf clover. Now I've tried various ones, but I kind of like this one. Okay, and we'll bring it on the screen. Now, this is 316 by 323, which is a good size for this 4-leaf clover. So what we're going to do is we are going to go into Home, and I'm going to scroll in on this just a little bit so that you can see the curves, and we're going to hit Shapes. Okay, now we're going to use the open straight line, and we're going to use the open curve line. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So I've got the open curve line. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to start around the edges just like this, and it will take time to do. You know, take your time. If you make a mistake, just right click and it will take you back. Okay, real simple. We'll start going around. When I get to this point right here, I'm going to hit the letter Z. Okay, and you'll see it change on the screen, so I can get down to this point. And I'm just getting used to this design, so you'll see the little scraggly things, but I'm going to show you how to fix those. Okay, I'm going to hit X and go back to my curved line, and we'll start going around. Now, when I get to this section here, I don't want it to be a point, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it as a curve, and I'll come up around it just like this. And you'll get better as time goes on, but this is a really good exercise too for learning how to trace your designs. We'll keep going. We're going to switch to the Z. X. Make it all the way around here. Now remember, I'm staying on the outer portion of it. We're just going to trace all the way around. I'm going to hit the Z key, come down to the corner, come out, hit X. We'll move it up some. There we go. Now, just around here, I'm going to keep it rounded. And the reason why I'm keeping it rounded is because it's easier to cut with my patches. There we go. You just keep going. It's kind of like yoga. Just keep going. We hit the Z key, come out, hit our X key, and we have to scroll up. I'm going to scroll all the way up here so we can see the end. Now, once we get to the end, you can see our line. I'm going to go just past the line, click it, and then double click, okay? And that's going to take us off of there, all right? Now we can go into home and we can hit the zoom out, and we can see we've done the whole outline, okay? And that actually looks pretty good. We've got a few little bubbles in there, but we can fix those, okay? So then we're going to go ahead and we're going to hit our select key. We will hit our nodes key, okay? And we'll go to home, get our zoom key. We're going to come in here, and I saw a little bobble right here. So we're going to go ahead. You'll have to hit select, your pointer key, and we're going to just, whoops, we lost our nodes. Let's go back. Let's get our nodes back in there. Okay, here we go. So I'm just going to bring this node down a little. There we go. And it makes it a little bit better right there. Okay, and you can play around with it. You know, this is actually really fun to be able to do this. Okay, I think we've got it straight there. And that one's going to be fine there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to come back out. And we can look and see how it is. Let's hit our pointer and get out of our nodes. There we go. Okay, so now we have the outline to our 4-leaf clover. Now, somebody might ask, well, why don't you just use the applique wizard? Well, I didn't fill in this because I'm going to put glitter flecks in here, and I didn't need the rest of this design. I'm not sewing out any of this, so I'm just creating the applique on my own. Okay, and this is actually a good size applique. I probably could make it a little bit bigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the control key, okay, and I'm going to bring this up some, and this is going to maintain the density in the outline. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and do that, and it's going to make it a little bit bigger too. There we go. All right, so at this point I don't need this design anymore. I just needed something to trace over. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go into image, and I'm going to delete my background. Okay, now I've gotten rid of my design. All right, so if I come back into home, I want to show you a really easy way to make your own applique. Okay, so I'm going to go up here and I'm going to hit duplicate. All right, and what that's going to do is it's going to duplicate my design. I'm going to come back to the first design and I'm going to change that to a running stitch. Okay, I will come back to my second design and double click on it, and you should be able to hit Control M and move it. I've been having issues with my control buttons. There, now it worked. Okay, so now what I can do is I can change that to a running stitch also. Okay, I'm going to come to the second one and I'm going to duplicate that because I need 3 of them. Okay, and the third one, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hit Control M, move it on to the other 2. Okay, but I'm going to change that one to a zigzag stitch. Okay, and in my sewing attributes, okay, I don't think that you're going to be able to see them. I'm going to change my zigzag width, which is right here, to 15. Okay, and you'll see it change on the screen. It will get bigger. There we go. All right, so let me move that out of the way. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, and I'd like to bring this back to center. Let's see if that will work. Nope. Here, we'll move it over this way. Whoops. Now it's going the other way. There we go. We'll get it back. There we go. Now we got it back. Okay. So at this point, I can go ahead and I can put my lettering in here. So I'm going to go ahead and I will bring in my lettering. And I am going to type, let's see, we're leaving it all caps. Whoops. Now I've got 2 letters, so let's try that again. I. And we'll move the I. Let's go right here. And then we'll bring in our next one. I've got slippery hands on this keyboard today. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of the words in, and then we can just go ahead and move them. Real easy. All right, here we go. Okay. So I've gotten all my words in. Now all I have to do is rearrange them. Okay, to wherever I want. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to move this down here. And then we will double click and we can move. And you can change the size. I have found that this is pretty good. Okay. Now, I do these for special needs children and adults, so I just try and make it look cute, and I think they turn out pretty good. All right. Once you have your lettering in place, okay, what you need to do at this point, I'm going to try and move this just a little. Okay. We're going to take our third 4-leaf clover. We're going to click on it, and what we're going to do is we're going to move that one to our last spot. All right, so what you're going to have here is you're going to have your placement stitch right here. The second one is going to be your tack down stitch, so in between here is where you're going to place your fabric, or as me, glitter flex. The tack down stitch is going to tack it down, and then I'm going to cut around the edges of the glitter flex. Then it's going to go ahead and do all the lettering, and on the last one, this will be my satin stitch, okay? And I will use this. It will finish off the design, but I'm also putting poly under it so that my back will be clear. I won't have the stitches, you won't see the stitches in the back, okay? Now, The best thing that you can do is change the color of these. If you're going to use glitter flex or green fabric, do not use green thread because you won't be able to see where you're supposed to cut. So what I'm doing is I'm going to change this one to be a bright color. We'll just leave it at that. All right. And that's going to help me so that I'll know where to cut it on the glitter flex. I'll be able to see it. Okay. So let's go ahead. We're going to send this over to the machine. All right. And you know, you can tweak this. Okay. You can bring these points down more if you wanted to. There's all kinds of different things that you can do with it. You know, working with the nodes and stuff like that. So play around with it. It is a lot of fun to be able to create your own design, and you'll be able to do that. I just use the 4-leaf clover as something that I could trace over because I'm not artistic when it comes to drawing. So it was easier for me to do this. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to send it over to the machine. And there it is. Make sure that you have your machine on or you'll have to reset it. Okay, so I will see you over at the machine. Be right back. Okay, so I'm actually using 3. These are pre-cut squares of stabilizer. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put those in. Get this in right here. And my needle is not threaded. Let me pull this out. Thread this real quick. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull up my design. Set it. Hit embroidery. Okay. So the first thing that is going to come out, the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to do the placement line. All right, so we'll go ahead and let that sew out. That shouldn't take very long. Once I have my placement line done, I'm going to take the glitter flex and I'm going to take off the plastic sheet that is on it, okay? You can get glitter flex pretty much anywhere. I get mine from sewinspiredbybonnie.com. She sells it in sheets. And I just took one of these sheets from one of the bundles that I got. And it's just like real lightweight fabric. Okay, so I'm going to put this on here. If you don't feel comfortable holding it, you can always spray around the edges or just spray in the middle. With, I use KK 2000. That works really well. But I'm pretty good at just putting it down and then going ahead. Right now we're doing our tack down stitch, and remember, do it with a contrasting color so you can see it. And I'm just going to hold it down a little. Actually looking really good. Okay, so now that that's done, we're going to take it over to my ironing table. Okay, and we can take it off, and I will meet you over there. Okay, so we've got our tack down. I don't know if you can see it too well. It's in gold. All right, so let's go over to the ironing table. Okay, so we're over at my little ironing table here. And what I'm going to do is I am going to tear this off. And you'll be able to do that. I usually just start cutting it to get it off. And it's going to, you tear it off. And that's one of the reasons why I like more rounded corners versus the pointy corners, because it's easier to get this off. Okay, we'll just rip this off, and it tears really easy. I'm just pressing down on it to get it off. And some of these are a little tight, but we can go back over those in scissors, just like this. And just rip it off here. Just rip it. Okay, my little pile. And then you can go back through and just, if you've got little pieces, you can cut those off. Try not to hit your stitching line. And that actually looks really good. Got this little tiny piece here that just does not want to come out. There we go. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to iron this on. This is ironable. So the sheet that you pulled off, okay, I've got extra ones here. You can go ahead and lay that sheet on there, okay? And this is safe, it won't melt. And I'm using a little iron to just go over it, okay? And this is going to adhere it to the stabilizer, all right? And it'll get warm. So you're just ironing it on there, just like that. It takes out any of the little bumps, if you have any. This one actually went on really well. And I'm not using a really hot iron. I probably could turn it up just a little. I actually see, and this will come off real easy, I actually see a little piece I want to get off of here. There we go. I'll put that back on. And we'll just iron around all the edges. This is going to adhere it to the stabilizer or your fabric if you've decided to use fabric. And I can still touch it, okay, so it's not that hot. And I'm just going to go over it a couple times. Just like that, okay? And then you can take off thing. It'll be a little bit warm, but it'll cool down pretty quick, okay? I'm going to go ahead and turn my iron off here. All right, so we're going to take it back over to the machine. All right, so we're back over by the machine. We're going to go ahead and put this back in, okay? Now the first thing that's going to stitch out is our lettering. All right, so we can go ahead and start that. And that'll take a couple minutes, so go ahead and watch that stitch out. And it'll tie off after each one. You can see it stitching right through. Okay, so our last step after we get our wording in there, okay, is I'm using poly mesh, all right, to put under here, okay, and this is going to cover up the stitches from the lettering, okay, and just make sure that you have it around the design, okay. You can check it, these lift up just a little bit on where it's at. Okay, I'm going to move this over just a little bit more so I know that I have it all the way under there. You might be able to even see it. Okay. And I want to make sure it's at the top. Okay, if you have to, you can always take your frame out, flip it over, and spray base the back of it, okay, so that you know that you are completely on the design. All right, so we're all threaded and ready to go, and now we're ready to do the outline stitch. Okay, and it's going to tack it down. Just like that. And it'll come back the other way, and then it's going to go ahead and do the satin stitch all the way around it. Okay, so I have taken it out of the frame. I've trimmed up my sides so you can see all the sparklies. All right, and the back is completely covered, so you could take some double-sided tape. That way you could tape it, stick it to something. Just cut off these little threads right here. All right, but it's done, and it looks really good. So I hope you enjoyed this. This is really cool to make, and it's a learning experience, okay? You take this journey and you continue on, and, you know, I can come back and maybe redo the stem a little bit to make it a little bit longer, but it actually turned out really good, okay? And the glitter flecks is wonderful because now it's all sparkly, and I'm really sure that the kids and the adults in the classroom will really like this. Okay? All right, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe and hit that notification button so you'll be notified. And if you hit that like button, then YouTube will refer my video for other people looking for something like this. Okay? Have a great day stitching.